Hi friends, Aitherea here. Today, I'm going to review the demo for Larryzaur's game, Not Only 9, which is planned to be released in late 2024. I played the entire demo on stream and will also be uploading the VOD for anyone who's interested in watching that. Before I get into my review, I'm going to read the synopsis of the game to you. Not Only 9 is a narrative RPG where the only fights are the bosses. Play as a cat and journey through the afterlife to save your human. Help lovable characters in classic-style quests that don't hold your hand. So, when I first heard about this game from one of Larry's videos, I was intrigued but, to be honest, worried that I wouldn't like it because he says the game does not hold your hand. I personally love having my hand held in games because otherwise I get lost easily. Like in Elden Ring, I immediately got lost from the story and the lore of that game. I like combat in games, but not enough to enjoy a game that is nothing but combat. And I also don't like to feel like it's taking too long for me to continue with the main story. So I was worried that since Not Only 9 doesn't hold your hand, I would end up struggling to figure out what it is that I need to do next. However, this isn't the case at all. Instead, you're actually blocked into a zone until you complete the main story quest, so you're not going to get lost in an open world. Not only that, but the text highlights important points in orange, making it a lot easier to keep track of things or characters that you should watch out for. After playing the demo, I felt that my initial worry was for nothing and that this game isn't going to be the type where you get frustrated because you can't figure out what to do next. Before I talk about the plot or the combat, I want to talk about the design elements of the game. This game is simultaneously adorable as hell and freaking gorgeous. The zone that you start in is so vibrant and pretty and just plain pleasing to the eye. Throughout the game, there is also artwork, such as during certain cutscenes, as well as above the text box. All of it is just so stunning. I really commend all of the artists and designers who worked on this game because it's beautiful. Not only that, but there was a lot of attention to detail put into this world. There are ambient birds chirping, leaves falling, sunlight split into shafts shining through tree branches, trees swaying in the wind. These little details are often only noticed subconsciously, but they truly make a game feel rich, vibrant, and alive. I really appreciate these details. Of course, along with these more visual aspects, you have the game's music, which has been playing throughout the background of this video and which is honestly 10 out of 10. There's a lot of wonderfully chill songs to match the starting zone, but also moments where the music quickens or becomes more intense depending on where you are or what you're doing. The combat music, for example, was pretty rad. The stars shine for you, assumed control of cosmos. How do I use them? Is it just 1 and 2? Oh, it's like turn-based. Let's use despair. You cast despair 1. Speaking of combat, the game does not have any mobs. It focuses a lot more on exploration and storytelling. Instead of fighting trash mobs, you go around talking to different characters and finding out what they're doing, what they need, and how you can help. The interactions with the characters teach you more about the afterlife and what it is like, deepening the lore. It seems like the side quests can do more than just share lore though. I did one that led me to a special item, which was these absolutely adorable wings that boosted my stats. I actually freaked out when I noticed these because literally they're so cute, like how cute can this game get? You got the Valor wings. Light Cosmos levels have increased. I see. Oh. Okay. Oh, guys! Look at the butterfly! Oh my god, that's adorable! That's the cutest thing ever! When you do encounter combat, which in the demo there's just one instance of it, it is turn-based. On top of that, there's a little mini-game you play where you have to press different keys quickly in a sequence to block your opponent's attacks. At least in the demo, the boss fight seemed incredibly important to the overarching plot of the game. I think a lot of the boss fights will be linked to the main story. And let me tell you, the boss fight was really something. Though I haven't played many turn-based games and tend to feel skeptical about whether or not I'd even like turn-based combat, I did enjoy this. I think there were 2 things that made it fun for me. The first was the minigame I mentioned, and the second was the fact that the boss was saying things that were relevant to the story. In the demo, the boss fight tugs at your heartstrings because, spoiler alert, you are forced to fight one of the characters you've been traveling with. After reading all of the silly, quirky dialogue from this character and his friends, you also start to feel a bit of an attachment. And I do just want to note, the dialogue in this game is another plus. It can be a little goofy at times, but I like how quirky it is, and there are a lot of fun little jokes along the way. Since all the characters in the game look like adorable animals, having this sort of cute, quirky dialogue makes sense to me. The game is so cutesy and quirky, but I know it's going to rip our hearts out at some point. But that's a good thing. This game isn't just a fun, silly little feel-good story. It can actually be quite thought-provoking. There are a lot of questions about life, death, and eternity. The game also seems to push an uplifting message about choosing to continue even when things are hard and breaking through the walls that life places in front of you. I appreciate this message overall, but I will say one thing. I hope that this game will also acknowledge how hard it can be to do that. I've heard people say before that you can choose to be happy, and maybe that's true, but that doesn't make it easy. I've personally struggled with mental health for years, and sometimes the idea of just break through the wall can feel a little insensitive, because I'd have done that if I could. Now, I highly doubt Larry's game is going to end up being insensitive. I have a feeling that the trials and tribulations we go through in the game will be those steps we have to take before we can break the wall. But I still felt like sharing my viewpoint on this message just in case Larry comes across this video. Overall, I have to say that I genuinely enjoyed the demo. It honestly made me feel excited to play the whole game and sad that I have to wait until the end of 2024 to do so. If you'd like to support Larry's game, I will leave links in the description to his Kickstarter page and his social media. If you'd also like to play the demo, which I do encourage, it was seriously fun, then just type Not Only 9 into Steam and you'll be able to find it. If you've already played the demo, leave a comment letting me know what your favorite aspect of the game was. As always, please leave a sacrifice for Lord Algorithm in the form of a like, comment, share, or subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!